The Kennedy Space Center, U.S. History in Space. Hello again, and thank you for joining me for yet another exciting episode of the adventurous life of Paul and Diane. Before we get started, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you never ever miss an exciting episode of the adventurous life of Paul and Diane. I will be talking to you today about touring the Kennedy Space Center. Since I was a young boy, one of my many dreams was to go to NASA and see the rockets, the launch pads, the space capsules from the Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo shuttle programs. The Kennedy Space Center Visitor Complex is located on Merritt Island. As you arrive, you drive into a large parking area. There is a cost for parking. After parking, I got out of my car and started walking toward the entrance. The huge shuttle liquid fuel tank and the two solid rocket boosters right before me immediately caught my attention. Before you enter, you see the countdown clock. The Apollo missions mark the debut of this clock. Used through the Apollo, the Space Shuttle missions to the current rocket launches. You will then see a large curved LED screen that seems to have 3D objects leap from the screen. This is a new display that replaced the JFK fountain. I was so excited to have the opportunity to visit the Kennedy Space Center. I purchased my ticket online, and as a senior, I paid $72 for my ticket. Other ticket prices are adults, 12 and over, $77, child, 3 to 11, $67. With this general admission ticket, this gives you access to the core exhibits, the shows, and the restricted area bus tours. The tours currently take you to the gantry at LC39. This is a new exhibit, and to the Apollo Saturn V Center. There are general admission upgrades and add-ons for an additional cost. This could include special tours or experiences such as the Kennedy Space Center Explorer Tour or Chat with an Astronaut. Because spots are limited, it is best to reserve these in advance. You can also purchase 2 days and annual passes. Now let's talk about what to expect. The visitor complex is divided into different mission zones and offers both indoor and outdoor displays, along with bus tours and exclusive behind-the-scenes experiences. We are going to start off with the bus tour. The buses are hop on and hop off. Buses are on an approximate 15-minute wait time. First, I had a preconceived notion as to what to expect when I was at the Kennedy Space Center. I was surprised how everything was so spread out. It took about 15 minutes just to get to our first stop on this bus tour, which is the gantry at Launch Complex 39. On the way there, we passed by the Vehicle Assembly Building. This building is 129,428 cubic feet. This is the largest single-story building in the world. It features a 456-foot tall door. I mean, that's amazing. We also got to see the crawler transport vehicles that transport the rockets to the many launch pads. They ride along a compacted gravel road called the Crawler Way. They moved about 1 mile an hour while transporting a rocket. At the Gantry Launch Complex 39 exhibit, you'll experience a multi-sensory simulated engine test fire. This multi-story tall gantry, and you can take an elevator or use the stairs to go up to the different levels. Once on top, you can see multiple launch pads. It is possible that 1 or 2 rockets may be launched in the next day or two. There was a scheduled launch the day that I was there, but it was later in the day and I was unable to stay for the launch. There was also a gift shop with souvenirs and refreshments. Kennedy Space Center is cashless. You will need to use a card for these payments. The simulated test firing of a Saturn V rocket engine is exhilarating and unforgettable. There was also air blast rocket launchers and simulators to experience there as well. After spending approximately 45 minutes at that exhibit, I hopped back on the tour bus and headed toward our next destination. That bus ride was approximately 20 minutes. The Kennedy Space Center is massive. It consists of approximately 140,000 acres, and it takes time to get to the next exhibit location. The next exhibit was the Apollo Saturn V Center. This exhibit was absolutely amazing. You enter a theater, and in front of you is the actual mission control console used. I mean, it is the real thing. This is not a mock-up. You are seeing history unfold before your eyes. They take you through the actual launch sequence of the Apollo 8. It was incredible to witness this in person. After watching the launch, the doors open and you walk, and above your head is a full-size Saturn V rocket. It is suspended from the ceiling and it's massive. It took me several segments to film this rocket because of its massive size. It's very, very impressive. They displayed a command module mock-up, 2 moon rovers, and an impressive lunar module setup with 2 astronauts on the moon's surface. They also had the Apollo 14 capsule on display. That was also incredible. They had multiple spacesuits and other artifacts used on various space missions. Seeing it firsthand is fascinating, to use a Mr. Spock phrase. Live long, if I can get my fingers to move, live long and prosper. Person is a dream come true for me. They also have a magnificent gift shop located in that location. I bought a few things after trying to decide what to buy. This is a very, very impressive gift shop. There is also a restaurant on their premises called the Moon Rock Cafe. I found this to be the sole drawback of my visit to the Kennedy Space Center. First, the food is extremely expensive and very mediocre, bordering on terrible. I was extremely disappointed in the quality of the food. Kennedy Space Center, you're a world-class tourist destination. You need to step up your game in the food department. Okay? Overall, I spent about 1.5 hours at the Apollo Saturn Center. Memories last a lifetime for sure. I reboarded the bus and rode back to the visitor complex. Next, I went to the Space Shuttle Atlantis exhibit. It was an amazing experience. You first go in and they had a video of the history of the development of the space shuttle. They then show a shuttle launch with sensory and motion. When that ends, these large doors open up and there suspended from the ceiling on an angle is the Space Shuttle Atlantis, with its cargo bays fully open. You can walk around the shuttle and you gasp at the immense size of the shuttle. Upon inspection of the rear section, the heat tiles are visible, with several showing signs of damage or missing from re-entry. This is an amazing experience to see this in real life. This is not a mock-up. This is the real Atlantis Space Shuttle. There are also many different exhibits and things to do. They have an exhibit where you can crawl inside of a mock-up of the International Space Station. If I were younger, I would have crawled into that mock-up. It would have been an amazing experience. I'm just too old. My knees wouldn't be able to handle it. There was also a shuttle ride simulator. You strap in and you feel virtually what a shuttle launch would be like from inside the shuttle. This is quite possibly the closest thing to experience being a real astronaut. All in all, there are 60 exhibits and attractions at the Atlantis building. I left the Atlantis exhibit and I took a short walk to the rocket garden. I wanted to see this since I was a kid. It was very impressive to walk around and see these massive rockets towering above my head. Rockets from Mercury and Gemini programs. Absolutely a wonderful experience. Next is the Gateway, the Deep Space Launch Complex. This attraction focuses on the future of space exploration, deep space missions, Mars, and next generations of rockets and human spaceflight. Here you will find large and interactive displays, scaled models, and immersive mission zones. Another wonderful exhibit is Heroes and Legends. This exhibit features the U.S. Astronaut Hall of Fame. This section is dedicated to the pioneers of spaceflight. The next is Journey to Mars. This exhibit has focused on NASA's plans to go to Mars. You will see life-size concepts for rovers, vehicles, habitats, interactive displays about how humans might live and work on Mars. There's a place for children. It's called Planet Play. This is for kids from 2 to 12. This is an indoor, multi-story play structure, and it is pure fun for kids to play and explore. It includes slides, climbing structures, games themed around space and planets. Other fun experiences you might want to include are Meet an Astronaut. You can talk and meet with a real NASA astronaut. Different simulator experiences, Beyond the Shuttle launch, and also training simulators. They have an IMAX theater showing films about missions, planetarium-style shows, and etc. Last but not least, there are cafes, snack bars, and large gift shops. You will definitely need to take home a few souvenirs of your trip to the Kennedy Space Center. There are so many things to see and do that you actually need a 2-day pass. I spent 6 hours there, and I will need to go back the next time I am in Florida to see the exhibits and shows I missed this time. I absolutely, totally recommend going to the Kennedy Space Center for anyone interested in the history of space travel. I hope you enjoyed this excursion with me in the tour of the Kennedy Space Center. It is something that I always wanted to do, and I finally had the opportunity to go there. You know, if you grew up like I did watching Star Trek and Lost in Space and all those TV shows from the 60s and 70s, this is a dream come true. All right, that'll just about do it for me on this episode of The Adventurous Life of Paul and Diane. And in closing, please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so you never ever miss an exciting episode of The Adventurous Life of Paul and Diane. And as always, live your life as an adventure. Thank you.
I used to play around with hearts, hasten at my call. When I met that little girl,